everyone. Let's pay homage to our nation by rising for national anthem, followed by Tamil Taivarthu and college prayer songs celebrating the rich linguistic diversity of our nation.
Janagana mana adinayaka jayage Bharat bhagya vidata Punjab Sindhu Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Banga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jalati Taranga Tava Shubha Name Jage Tava Shubha Ashisha Mage गाहे तव जय गाता திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழங்கே தமிழங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திரும்பியந்து செயல்மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே 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 அறிவிலே தெளிவு நெஞ்சிலே உறுதி அகத்திலே அன்பினோர் வெள்ளம் பொறிகளின் மீது தனிய சாலை பொழுது நானினது பேரருளின் நெருகிலே நாட்டம் கருமயோகத்தில் நிலைத்திட என்றிவை அருளாய் குறிகுணம் ஏதும் இளதாய் அழைத்தாய் குலவிடு தனி பரம் பொருளே பரம் பொருளே.
Please be seated. Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, esteemed guests, distinguished delegates and enthusiastic participants, my humble pranams. Welcome to the two-day international conference on Sindhu Saraswathi civilization from Sindhu to Tamil, the flow of civilization and faith, jointly organized by Center for South Indian Studies and Kongunadu Arts and Science College. Let's begin this conference with blessings of God's learning, invoking divine light of wisdom and knowledge by lighting the traditional lamp, symbolizing the dispelling of darkness and ushering in of enlightenment. I request our Honorable Governor and the dignitaries on the dais to light the good liquor.
नादबिंदु कलाय नमो नमः वेद मंत्र स्वरूपा नमो नमः ज्ञान पंडित स्वामी नमो नमः वेग कोटि दीप मंगल ज्योति नमो नमः तूय अंबल लीला नमो नमः देव कुंजरी भागा नमो नमः अरुள் தாராய்
அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி.
Thank you. We are honored to have with us our respected Secretary and Director, Dr. C.A. Vasuki ma'am, a bold and efficient administrator with a kind and compassionate heart. Her remarkable leadership, coupled with steadfast devotion and commitment, consistently serves as a source of inspiration to all. May I warmly invite her to welcome the distinguished guest and gathering to the conference.
A pleasant morning to one and all. And on this auspicious day of Hanuman Jayanti, I wish everyone good health, wealth, prosperity, valor and vigor. His Excellency, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R.N. Raviji, Treasurer of the College, Dr. O.N. Paramasivan, members of the College Council and Committee, Principal Dr. Sangeeta, and Thiru Sandeep, Director, Center for South Indian Studies, Thiru Kumaresan, the learned faculty members, students, participants, research scholars, and who have come here, members who have come here to present and participate from far and wide to extend their research findings to all of us. Press and media, at the outset, I extend a warm welcome to all of you who have assembled here to witness this grand inaugural of this two-day conference, which is going to be an international one because we have papers from all around the world, and this conference is actually the Sindhu Saraswathi civilization, that is Sindhu to Tamaraparani, talking about the flow and faith and civilization. This has been organized by Kongunadu Arts and Science College and Center for South Indian Studies, Chennai. At the outset, I must say that this conference is a confluence of research scholars, teachers, professors, and all other stakeholders who have put their time and effort for several years in deciphering the scientific, cultural, spiritual, and holistic practices which were prevalent in this great civilization, and it is prevalent even today. I am extremely happy and honored to propose the formal welcome address in this august occasion on the inaugural of this important conference. In this conference, the center of our discussion is about various rivers of India, of which some we see physically and some like Saraswathi and Kaushika River of Coimbatore, which we do not now see physically, but it is part and parcel of our heritage. The geological data available states that Saraswati was the grandest river of Bharat, which existed more than 172,000 years back. It was flowing from Kurukshetra around Bikaner area. Around 70,000 years ago, the course of Saraswati River shifted to the northwestern region and hence started to flow around Kalibunga. Later, around 50,000 years ago, Yamuna separated from Saraswati. Around 13,000 years ago, the Sutlej, which was a tributary of Saraswati, also split, and hence Saraswati lost both of its major tributaries, and by 4500 BC, it went dry. The river has been mentioned in our great epics like Ramayana, Mahabharata, and has several. It is very sad to see there are several false narratives which deny its existence and legacy. Similarly, River Kaushika, River of Coimbatore, is being revived now, and it is right around the corner of our college. The conference will be a prelude to bring to limelight the rich legacy, heritage, culture which carried by various rivers and its civilization. On behalf of the entire fraternity of Kongunadu, I extend a heartiest welcome to His Excellency Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R.N. Raviji. We feel extremely honored, sir, by your presence and as a chief guest for this occasion. It is a matter of great pleasure for all of us that he could find time to be with us despite his preoccupation. This shows his interest in academic and true scientific research pursuits, which includes validation of traditional knowledge and bringing back the right narratives of the 21st century learners. His presence here this morning is a source of inspiration and a great moral booster to the entire research community. I welcome you once again, sir. I extend a warm and adorable welcome to all the members on and off the dais. I extend a warm welcome to all the speakers who are eminent and have considerable experience in this subject, who are going to translate their knowledge to the participants such that the learning can be propagated further to all the stakeholders. The purpose of organizing such a research conference is to debate on pivotal topics of national interest and then come to a consensus on findings of researchers such that these can be disseminated to the public, especially to the youth of this country, and to bring about awareness of knowledge sharing. I am happy to declare that we have received more than 100 original research articles from India and abroad in various Indian languages, which shows the interest among researchers to disseminate the right narrative with evidence and proof. I would be failing in my duty if I do not extend a courteous welcome to the participants, scholars, professors who have contributed in their research findings. In this moment, it is a pride and joy to welcome the students who are the foundation of Viksit Bharat and who are going to be the beneficiaries of this conference. We are aware of the responsibilities towards educational development, focusing on addressing the challenges of the 21st century and to impart man-making education as declared by Swami Vivekananda with strict morals, duties, discipline, and patriotism. I also take this occasion to extend a warm welcome to the distinguished guests, dignitaries, media personnel, and all others for their gracious presence on this occasion and request for your continued cooperation in the future also. I welcome you all again. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm welcome. We are deeply honored by the gracious presence of our Honorable Governor as a chief guest at this conference. His valuable time, guidance, and support add great significance to this occasion. As a token of our respect and gratitude, we are pleased to felicitate His Excellency now. I request Dr. C. A. Vasuki, ma'am, Dr. Owen Paramishan, sir, and Sri Sandeep to do the honor. Thank you all. The conference on Sindhu Saraswati civilization explores a seamless journey from faith to civilization, highlighting how spiritual thought shapes social, cultural, and ethical frameworks of ancient Bharat. The deliberations seek to reaffirm the relevance of this timeless heritage. We have Sri Dharani Gunashekaran, archaeologist, to introduce the concept of the conference.
Vanakkam and pranams to everyone. River as the foundation of civilization. Rivers have been the cradle of human civilization across the world. From the Nile and the Yellow River and the Sindhu Saraswati system, river systems sustained agriculture, enabled trade, shaped social structures, inspired philosophy, and nurtured literature and spirituality. In South India, rivers such as Kaveri, Vaigai, Tamarabarani, Pennaru, Palaru played an equally significant role. They supported some of the world's communication settlements, gave rise to Sangam-era cities, advanced irrigation, engineering systems, facilitated maritime trade, and shaped culture, poetry, rituals, and ecological wisdom rooted in sustainable living. The international seminar seeks to place river-based civilization at the center academic and public dialogue, not merely as historical studies, but as frameworks to understand adaptation, innovation, environmental balance, and resilience, issues that critically relevant to humanity today aimed ecological crisis and unsustainable practices. A major focus of the seminar is the Saraswati River, examined through multidisciplinary lens coming Vedic literature, archaeology, geology, hydrology, and environmental science. The Rig Veda describes Saraswati as a mighty river flowing from the mountains to the sea, and as the source of learning and inspiration. Modern scientific research using satellite imagery, sediment analysis, and tectonic studies has identified the Gagara-Hagara Paleo-channel as its cause. Archaeological evidences reveals over 1,400 Harappan sites along the river system, establishing Saraswati as a real, ecological, powerful river whose decline reshaped early Indian civilization. Parallelly, the seminar highlights Tamil Nadu's river civilization, which evolved differently from the Harappan urban grid model, but demonstrated remarkable continuity, adaptability, and engineering sophistication. Sangam-era river system supported centers such as Urayur, Tanjavur, Kaveri Pumbattinam, Keeladi, Adichanallur, and Korkai, alongside advanced water management system like tanks, Eri, Anaikattu, and channels network engineering achievements comparable to those of Dholavira. Rather than proposing hierarchies, the seminar adopts a comparative ecological and cultural approach to understand how different river civilizations adopted monsoon patterns, environmental changes, and regional landscapes, and how rivers shape trade, settlements, patterns, culture, and music, literature across India. The seminar is strictly academic, scientific, and environment oriented, inclusive of dialogue driven. It is not political, racial, ideological. with over 100 research papers submitted from India and abroad across disciplines such as archaeology, epigraphy, hydrology, environmental sciences, and literature, anthropology, traditional ecological knowledge. The seminar aims to promote informed discussions and knowledge sharing. Addressing recent themes and in this conference are grounded in rigorous research and comparative studies of the river civilization. As a globally accepted scholarly practice, the seminar welcomes debate, questions, alternate viewpoints, and constructive criticism as an essential to intellectual growth. In conclusion to the seminar, invite scholars, students, researchers, critics, and the general public to engage openly in dialogue from the vanished channels of the Saraswati to the living water of the Tamarabarni. River tells stories of migration, technology, culture, faith, innovation, and resilience. Rivers, through collective learnings and discussions, the seminar seeks deepen understanding of our shared civilizational heritage and explore pathways to more sustainable and ecological sensitive future. The Saraswati stands as a powerful example of how the disappearance of a river profound impacts human life. The presence of over 1,400 archaeological sites along its dried riverbed clearly demonstrate how civilization once flourished around it and were later transformed by the decline. From this, we learn the urgent need to preserve and promote ecological wisdom and sustainable practices rooted in time-tested cultural values. Thank you.
Thank you, Sridharani. I am pleased to report that we received research papers from India and abroad, including Sri Lanka, Australia, and Nepal, with scholarly insights on cultural, spiritual, and historical continuum of the river systems. The publication of these papers serve as a valuable resource for researchers and enthusiasts exploring enduring influence of Sindhu Saraswati tradition on Indian civilization. I request the Honorable Governor to release the proceedings of the conference. Thank you. This temple of learning is profoundly honored and privileged by the esteemed presence of His Excellency, the Governor today. We are truly delighted to welcome a personality of such distinction and exemplary character whose leadership and vision inspire administration and respect throughout our community. Under his leadership, Raj Bhavan has been reimagined as a vibrant Lok Bhavan dedicated to reconnecting society with Tamil Nadu's profound literary, cultural, and spiritual heritage. He has championed the celebration of saints and sages, literary luminaries like Tiruvalluvar, Nayanar, Alvas, Kambar, Vallalar, and Bharatiyar, upholding the civilizational values they embody, including the Kashi Tamil Sangam, illuminating the theme Tamil Karkalam, Learn Tamil. As a leader deeply committed to India's civilizational continuum, he brings valuable insight to this international conference on Sindhu Saraswati civilization, linking faith, culture, and enduring heritage. May I humbly request His Excellency to deliver the inaugural address.
Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, Dr. C.A. Vasuki, who is Secretary and Director of this Kongunad Arts and Science College, Dr. O.N. Paramsivam, Treasurer, Dr. V. Sangeeta, Principal, Dr. Sandeep, who is the Director, Center for South Indian Studies, Chennai, distinguished scholars, participants, invitees, guests, my dear students, friends from the media. At the very outset, I would like to thank and congratulate the management of this Kongu Nadu Arts and Science College and Center for South Indian Studies, Chennai, for organizing this event. This 2 days international seminar on Sindhu Saraswathi civilization. Its contemporary relevance and a lot will be talked about. This institution, the Kongu Nadu Arts and Science College, I think this is a befitting, appropriate institution where such a conference or seminar is being held. This institution has been doing well academically, achieving greater excellence in terms of accreditation, and is known for value-based education. So I thank the students studying in this institution and coming out to be better citizens of this country. Center for South Indian Studies, Chennai, has been in the field of doing deep research into our forgotten past and has been on a mission to dispel the ignorance which has been deliberately contrived and spread through the light of knowledge, through research. Friends, this 2-day seminar, I'd like to highlight or like to suggest or raise a pointer. What is the relevance of such a workshop, such a seminar? What is the relevance of holding a seminar on this Sindhu Saraswati civilization? Is it to celebrate merely the rivers and civilizations that grew around the rivers? If that is the case, around the world, civilizations have grown only around the rivers, by and large. Ancient civilizations, if you look at Egyptian civilization, developed and survived for long along the basin of river Nile. Anyone who visits Luxor in Egypt and sees the grand remains of that old civilization that perished several thousand years ago gets completely stunned by the majesty of it. But that civilization doesn't exist anymore. Civilization of Mesopotamia, it grew along river Tigris. Again, a great civilization. But there is no trace of it today. With the rivers disappearing, civilizations also disappeared. But when it comes to Saraswati Sindhu civilization, though we know that the civilization that existed at that point of time several thousand years ago, though the river disappeared, Saraswati river disappeared, and that civilization disappeared, that civilization, its physical manifestation. But did the civilization that evolved around Sindhu Saraswati? Did it disappear like what happened in Nile and Tigris and other rivers? So when we talk about Saraswati Sindhu civilization, we are not merely talking about river. We are talking something more. Because what emerged along the banks of Saraswati and Sindhu in those days, they not only manifested in terms of material prosperity, that they had developed large township cities with geometric proportions, grid formations, community water services, and so many features that tell you that it was a highly evolved material civilization. But that is the case around other river civilizations also, like as I told you about Egyptian civilization along Nile and civilization of Mesopotamia along Tigris. But what evolved along Sindhu and Saraswati river, that basin, it also gave that knowledge, that unique universal truth, revealed that light, what emanated in Vedas, that became the source of creation of Bharat as a Rashtra. So Bharat as an existence to the philosophy, the darshan that evolved around Saraswati Sindhu areas. For a very long time, European scholars, they kept discounting the existence of Vedas, historical existence of Vedas. They say it was a work of fiction. They played it as if, they presented it as if there was a civilization, very great civilization at one point of time. That Aryans came from. And they destroyed the rich civilization of Sindhu Saraswati, and people migrated. And this line of argument given by the Europeans was very happily adopted and sincerely followed by quite a lot of our scholars, historians. They continued repeating it. Here I would like to remind the scholars and tell the students that the same Europeans who until the end of 18th century kept glorifying the ancient India or ancient Indian civilization as the greatest civilization in the world, they kept downplaying at the beginning of the 19th century. I would make a reference to a historical document. In 1788, after the Battle of Plassey and the British taking over, East India Company taking over the control of Bengal, the colonization of Bharat began. And at that point of time, there was a lot of concern in Britain And one of the concern was among the scholarship, among the academia of Britain, that like other areas which were colonized by the Europeans, like North America, South America, Australia, colonization of India will also lead to elimination of all the wisdom of that place. And so, by the time they had already come and studied, Europeans had come and studied about our ancient Indian knowledge system, our knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, astrology, medicine, and they were completely overwhelmed by it. So 1788, in March 1788, a group of professors of Edinburgh University, those days there were 3 centers of learning in UK, Oxford, London, Oxford, Cambridge and Edinburgh. A group of professors of Edinburgh, they wrote a letter to the British government. British government, the letter that they wrote, they said that because they were apprehensive, the colonization will destroy all the ancient knowledge of Bharat, which they were all completely overwhelmed with. Such an evolved science, technology, philosophy, literature, it should be preserved. So they wrote a letter, and the letter makes very interesting reading. I urge you all to look into that letter. And if anyone likes to know the reference of it, I will tell you, go for Dharmpal Classics, where it tells you the letter is quoted. The letter says, ask the British government to discover, collect, and translate all the works of ancient Hindus. I am quoting their language. Discover, find out where they are. Collect means take it away. And translate so that they can use it, understand and use it. All the works of ancient Hindus. And then they write that this will enhance our European knowledge system, European science and technology, European philosophy, knowledge, thought process, and we will get to know about the celebrated Hindus from whom, I am quoting their language, not mine, from whom Moses received his wisdom. Moses, who happened before Jesus Christ. Moses received, who finds place in Old Testament. Moses received his wisdom, and Greek, their art and religion. This must be collected. This must be discovered where they are. They must be collected, located, collected, and translated. And then they went on whole hog, collecting our manuscripts, taking away whatever they could. But then things changed at the beginning of, narrative changed at the beginning of 19th century. Because then they realized that it was not possible to colonize such an evolved civilization, such an united civilization, people of this civilization, for long, and for the interest of their enduring empire, so that British could continue ruling here for longest period possible, they decided the only way is to destroy their sense of pride, the sense of selfhood. And then they started fabricating the history and narrative. They started writing fabricated history of Bharat, telling everything is bad about the same people who had talked so gloriously. They started talking ill about everything in India. They introduced that in our curriculum, in colleges, schools. And that is how they tried to create a myth even about Saraswati Sindhu civilization. They said Saraswati does not exist. Where is Saraswati? It is imaginary. It is a mythical. Mythical means mythology, fictional. And because our Vedas had mentioned so much about river Saraswati, in fact, Rig Veda in Nadi Shukta of Rig Veda describes about our rivers from Ganga to Sindhu, and in between it describes about Saraswati, which is the very mightiest of all. Rig Veda tells about Saraswati, while it says that while all the rivers give us life and health, Saraswati river is something unique. It also sharpens your knowledge, your wisdom, your mind. It is a giver of wisdom. A specific reference reaches in Rig Veda about river Saraswati. So most of the Vedic rituals they evolved around Saraswati banks, Saraswati basin. And since the Vedic literature and Vedic philosophy became the source of Bharat, evolution of Bharat, Saraswati itself is fictional, as they said, because it doesn't exist. And so the whole story of Bharat coming out of Veda and Vedic system is all fictional, all stories. They continued it, this narrative, and our scholars continued parroting it. And some people started trying to say that, okay, these were the types of towns planning, these were the pots and pans which were found there, similar pots and pans are found here, similar pots and found somewhere else. So they started interpreting, misinterpreting according to their convenience, to try and create divide. But with the advent of modern science, remote sensing technology and satellite imagery, now it is scientifically established that Saraswati existed. It is through our own ISRO. Our ISRO scientists have written also, they have written papers on it. They have mapped it. They have shown the below the surface, subterranean flow of Saraswati. How it emanated from the glaciers of Himalayas and how it met the ocean near Somnath. Saraswati finds mention a number of times in our Vedas, because Rig Veda itself says that Saraswati is something unique, that it not only gives life and health, it also sharpens your wisdom. You come to Mahabharata. Mahabharata has a lot of reference about it. On the penultimate day of Mahabharata war, 17th day, we know that Mahabharata war happened for 18 days. On the 17th day, Mahabharata records that on the 17th day of the war, before the 18th, and at the end of 17th day of the war, entire Kaurava army went and took dip in Saraswati river. Shalya Parva. Shalya was the commander-in-chief of the last day of the battle, 18th day. And Shalya Parva mentions in Mahabharata that this river Saraswati, which emanates from Himalayas glacier, how it goes and meets the ocean. Mahabharata also mentions about how when Mahabharata was about to begin, all the peace initiatives by Sri Krishna had failed, and Pandava and Kauravas Duryodhana had refused to give what was due to Pandavas. Balaram, the elder brother of Sri Krishna, was not happy with the prospect of war. So he said, no, I am with nobody, neither with Pandava nor with Kaurava. He set on a pilgrimage. An entire pilgrimage was along Saraswati river, because a lot of tirthas were located along the banks of Saraswati river. He went along all this. Saraswati was a mighty flowing river until the time of Mahabharata. And now, the experts have established the date of Mahabharata war. Only recently we released a book by a great scholar, Dr. M.L. Raja, 2 volumes, which talks about Kali Yuga dated inscriptions. Kali Yuga dated means this is the, in fact, among all the eras in the world, the longest used era is Kali Yuga era. Over 5,000 years, the Kali Yuga era has existed by reference in inscriptions. And with nearly 1,000 inscriptions, stone inscriptions found all over Bharat and even beyond in Southeast Asia, established that Kali Yuga, a period, how from different times, different kings, different patrons, they built institutions at what point of time. Nearly 1,000 inscriptions physically existing even today. The oldest of this is at Uppatur in Andhra Pradesh, which is about 3,118 years old. Discovered and protected only about a couple of months back. Astronomical references made in Mahabharata has established that Mahabharata ended, and after Yudhishthir, the first king was Abhimanyu's son, Parikshit. Parikshit, at that point, Satpat Brahman was composed. Satpat Brahman, one of the precious ancient scripture. Satpat Brahmans mentions about astronomical references, like the location of Kritika. Kritika is a constellation. And with several astronomical references, it is established that Parikshit rule existed for almost about 36 years. And then Sri Krishna passed away, left the world. And that was the beginning of Kali Yuga. And Kali Yuga inscriptions continued until recently, as the evidence is found. So, until Mahabharata war, Saraswati was a thriving river. Kalidas has written in Kumar Sambhavam. Kalidas came later. Kumar Sambhavam Kalidas says, Saraswati, it flows, but it dries in the desert. Look at how it starts weakening. And it so even Kalidas, Kumar Sambhav makes a reference of Saraswati. Now, shifting of river, dying of river, drying of river is a geological phenomenon. Nothing very unusual. There are cases elsewhere in the world. In our own country, Bharat, do we know that Kosi river that comes from mountain Himalaya, crosses through Bihar and Bengal and goes to Bay of Bengal. It meets Ganga and then goes Bay of Bengal. In the 200 years, 18th to 20th century, in 200 years, about 200 years, it shifted about more than 110 kilometers westward. So the place where Kosi existed before, it shifted. Gandak, in 100 years, it shifted almost about more than 100 kilometers westward. And as late as 2008, Kosi again, there's something happened, geological development, and Kosi turned the course, and it started again going eastward, from westward to eastward, to the areas where it had abandoned before. Tista River, Those of you who are familiar, who have gone to Sikkim, must have seen Tista, majestic river, comes from the glaciers of Himalayas and meets Bay of Bengal. This Tista, until 1787, just about 225 or 230 years, 35 years ago, it used to flow straight and meet Ganga. It was a tributary of river Ganga. But 1787, it turned the course, it moved eastward, and it became a tributary of Brahmaputra. So river changing course, river disappearing from the area where it existed, or river disappearing altogether is a geological phenomenon. We know that in our country, if you look at the seismic map, geologically sensitive areas, the safest is south where we are. This is on the geological map, it is the most safest area, most stable. And the most vulnerable is the area of Saraswathi Sindhu civilization, which is the Himalayan belt. That area is the most, and it comes up to the Kutch. The whole area is highly unstable. So when Dwarika disappeared under the ocean, it's a geological development. Remember, about nearly 2 decades back, there was a massive earthquake in Kutch. Entire was disappeared. It was rebuilt. Otherwise, that was an old, lost civilization. If it didn't have the capacity to rebuild it, it was lost. So civilization in physical form, appearing and disappearing, is a historical fact, largely borne by geological and climatic conditions. But what is important about Saraswati Sindhu civilization is that it not only manifested the physical growth of a people, that they have built cities and towns beautiful, but intellectual and spiritual growth. The spiritual growth was what came in Vedas. What they told, that the truth that the Vedas revealed along the banks of Saraswati, that tells about oneness of creation. The whole creation is one. Individual, collective, and the creation, they are integrally one. There is no difference between different elements of creation. And each element of creation is permeated, has the presence of the divine. Vyashti, Samashti, and Srishti are created by the Parameshti, Parameshwara, and Parameshwara is present in all being. And today, if scientifically established, the entire human race, we share more than 99.9% of our gene, same. Some uniqueness comes, very minor variation, but essentially we are one and the same. It's not only humans, even with plants and animals. More than 70% of genes found in banana are human genes. That is why when we eat banana, it nourishes us. When we eat food, it makes us who we are. If it were completely alien, we could not have digested, we could not have been the source of our sustenance. Entire creation is one. And then they told us, then there is no other. Mam Atma Sarvabhut Atma. Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu. This is what our people here in this land said. Yavad. That he tells about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is what subsequently, even in Tirukural, when great Tiruvalluvar says, Arvinal aguvadi undo, Piratanoe tananoe pole potrar kade. Piratanoe tananoe pole. It's not that intellectually. You must feel it. You are. This is what Swami Vallalar said. Vardiya paire kand podelam vardine. Even a plant, when it suffers, I suffer because I'm linked. Yavadure yavarum keler. The whole world. Vasudhaiva kutumbaka. This is the thought process, the darshan that emerged on the banks of Saraswati. It permeated the whole Bharat. And our Vedas tells about how Bharat as a Rashtra emerged. Because we know that Bharat was not like other countries. Bharat was not created by any ruler, was not created by an army, was not created by a Bahubali. Bharat was created by a darshan, by a philosophy, and hard work of the rishis who believed in that philosophy. Rig Ved says about evolution of Rashtra Bharat. It says, Bhadram ikshanti rishya swavidah tapo diksham upnisheduragra tato rashtram balamojasya jata. When the rishis, the siddhas, who always cared and thought about the well-being of all, entire creation, those who knew that mama atma sarva bhutatma swavida atmagyan, those who knew that yadum ure yavarum kelir, such rishis, their hard work, they spread this wisdom, this light over a landmass, and that embraced and absorbed all the diversities. Diversity of language, diversity of region, diversity of custom, diversity of cuisine. They embraced because these were all just a various manifestation of one and the same. They told us that Bharat, the Srishti, is like a massive tree which has countless branches, countless leaves. No two branches are exactly alike. No two leaves are exactly alike. Yet, no branch, no leaf can exist away from the tree. It is organically linked, connected with the tree. The difference that we see at the end, like when we look at the leaves, there could be differences. In a flower which has hundreds of petals, no two petals are exactly alike. This is the law of nature. But a petal away from the flower has no existence. This knowledge revealed on the bank of Saraswati and taken to the larger mass, that created Bharat. And then more than 2000 years ago, our Vishnu Purana tells about Bharat. Uttaram yat samudrasya himadrishyaiva dakshinam varsham tad bharatam nama bharati yat tatra santati. North of ocean and south of Himalayas is the land called Bharat, and its children are Bharati. That is why Subramanyam Bharati called himself Bharati, son of Ma Bharati. This unique darshan that we are all one, there is no concept of other. Even those who call us that we are not, we are different, or they abuse us, we don't say. Even those who call us dengue, malaria, we don't say that you are away, you are ours. We cannot distinguish. We are all one. This is our entire Vedic philosophy, what we call Sanatan Darshan, Sanatan philosophy, or Sanatan Dharma. This was the root of creation of Bharat. So Saraswati, what emerged at Saraswati? It created Bharat. And when it comes to the unity of our people, if you look at our ancient literatures, our own Sangam literatures, this unity of Bharat revolves around, which is woven around this philosophy that we are all one. The entire Srishti, entire creation is integral. It has stories. It has historical narratives like Ramayana and Mahabharata. Go to any part of Bharat, you will hear the story of Rama. They will tell you their own language, but they will tell the story of Rama. They tell the story of Mahabharata. Let us look at our own Sangam literature, which is the ancient available literature. Look at Purnanuru. Purnanuru says, talks about, it has several references of Ramayana. And it tells at one point that Sri Rama went on the sea beach of Rameswaram. In the morning when he used to recite Vedas, Veda mantras, the birds on the nearby banyan tree, they used to fall silent to listen to the Vedic recitation by Sri Rama. It is in Purnanuru. Purnanuru also makes a reference that during Mahabharata war, the great Chera king at the time, Udayan Cheralathan, great Chera king Udayan Cheralathan, he sent his army to fight for the Pandavas. And it describes how the Chera army bravely fought and defeated the Kauravas. It is in our Purnanuru. Silpadikaram. Silpadikaram has references from Ramayana and Mahabharata. Silpadikaram mentions that when Kovalan and Kanaki, the main characters, when they left Pumpuhar for Madurai, the people of Pumpuhar were sad. And then the writer says, Ilango article says, the people were sad like when Sri Ram and Sita had left Ajodhya. Silpadikaram further says that when Kovalan, when he had to go out for working, and he had suffering the pang of separation from his wife Kanaki, his love, he was in pain. And then one Rishika, one female saint, Kaunti Adigal, tells him, narrates him the story of how Sri Ram, when he was in Vanvas, when obeying his father's direction, we had gone to the forest, and Sita was taken away by Ravanas, how Sri Ram was suffering the pangs. It is in Silpadikaram. Silpadikaram mentions about Sri Krishna doing Kansa Vada, killing Kansa. It mentions about how Sri Krishna went and tried to bring peace at Hastinapur, his peace mission to Hastinapur. It all describes. Mani Mekhalai describes about building of Setu by Vanaras for Sri Ram. Aknanuru describes that how when the poet, the great poet, was honored by the king, the writer of Aknanuru, he was presented with jewelry. Unfortunately, his jewelry was taken away by his relatives, and they were wearing those jewelries. And then the poet writes that these jewelries on the relatives of the poet were looking so ridiculous, like when Sita Devi was being taken by Ravana, she has dropped her jewels, and monkeys had picked up and they were wearing the jewels. These are all references, these are all connects that we have in all our literature. So, what evolved around Saraswati basin, Saraswati Sindhu. It created Bharat. It nursed Bharat. It shaped the outlook of our people, cutting across diversity of language, region, custom, cuisine. It taught us we are all one family, Ore Kutumbam. Ore Bharatam, Unnat Bharatam. One Bharat and Shrestha Bharat. Now, today, this country, we are Bharat, today it is the golden period for our country. Golden period. It's not only golden period for Bharat alone. It is the golden period for the whole world. Because when our rishis had revealed the divine wisdom on the banks of Saraswati, it was not only meant for these people only, people of Bharat. It was meant for the whole humankind, entire world. Because it says that entire creation is one family. But look at the world today. So much of fight, so much of conflict, so much of war. People are fighting themselves. So everyone is suffering a conflict with oneself. A lot of cases where suicide, a lot of depressions. Do we know that in Tamil Nadu, every year, more than 20,000 people lose their life by suicide? Every day in our state, more than 65 people are committing suicide. If you look at the data of National Crime Record Bureau, it tells you Tamil Nadu is the suicide capital of Bharat. No other state has as many suicide as we have Tamil Nadu. Rate of suicide. Look at, we are all in distress. Conflict with oneself, depression all around the world. Somewhere more, somewhere less. The conflict with each other. Look at the war happening around. Sometimes you try to spread the hate in name of language. Sometimes you try to spread the hate in terms of religion. Wars happening. Russia-Ukraine war, Israel-Hamas war. All these wars all around. So much destruction. We are in conflict with the environment, the climate. The whole world is rushing towards self-destruction. Rushing towards self-destruction. And the only way by which the world can be saved is the knowledge, the darshan, the philosophy, the outlook on life on which the Bharat was created and which Bharat owes. Bharat owes to spread this light to the rest of the world. But for that, Bharat must be samarth, must be capable first. This knowledge was there with us for thousands of years. Mere having knowledge is not enough. We must be quite capable. We must be strong enough to take this light across the world. And today, we are emerging as strong. Strong not only in terms of science and technology, not only in terms of our military prowess, which we saw in Operation Sindhu, how in a short, swift war, we defeated Pakistan decisively, but also in our spiritual and cultural resurgence. It was a mark of this spiritual and cultural resurgence, the root of which lies in Saraswati Sindhu civilization. When Bharat hosted the G20, we gave the lesson to the world, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Yadu Mure, Yavarum Koluri. This was the motto of G20. This was the motto was one earth, one future, one earth, one family, one future. We are not different. We have one future. Either we go up or perish. Either we prosper or perish. We have to take a call. And Bharat knows how to prosper collectively, how to prosper together. But in this our growth, in our rise, which we are having today, that is why Prime Minister Modi calls Iduve Neram, Shariyana Neram, Bharat Tin Purnana Neram. This is the golden time of Bharat. Because we are coming up with the sense of selfhood, who we are. What kind of proud heritage we have. Several thousand years, the wisdom that they gave, our rishis gave us, it still lives in our heart. Even the illiterate man in the village may not be knowing the literature, but in day-to-day life, he lives by those very values. It is there in our sanskar, in our DNA. So, we are reinforcing it. We are re-energizing it. So this is a period when we are growing materially, scientifically, and also researching spiritually, culturally. But in this, there are a lot of obstacles. There are difficulties. Difficulties are from within and without, both. Our own people with vested interest, with a colonized mind, still they deny the existence of our past. That is why here in our own state, which evolves and revolves around the lives of our Nayanars and Aravars, they gave us this core that defines our identity. Kambar Ramayana, which shapes our thought process, they are being systematically denied. But it is not possible because it lives in the heart of our people. This resurgence has to be emphatic. All those who are denying it, all those who are saying that, trying to divide these people, Bharat, in terms of Aryan, Dravidian, and all the race or the language, they will be defeated. Because they stand on falsehood, total falsehood. The existence of river Saraswati is scientifically being established. And the fact that much of the civilization was along Saraswati more than Sindhu. Even if you look at the places which have been found out through the archaeological survey, most of them are along Saraswati only. Be it Lothal, Kalibangan, Rakhigari, Dholavira, all are Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana. This is not mythical, this is historical, it is a fact. And the Vedas are not fictional, they are real. They are the root, they are the source of evolution of Bharat. And they are the source of salvation of the whole world. Because only when we start accepting the whole world as one family, whole world, not only humans, but plants and animals also as one, only then we will be at peace with our environment, peace with the climate, peace with each other, and also the fact that we are all manifestation of divine, we will be at peace with ourselves. This is the only mantra that can save the world. And this mantra, we are proud inheritor of this mantra. And it is a time for us to grow. So this, when we hold a discussion and seminar on Saraswati Sindhu civilization, it is essential. It's not a mere, it should not be an urge the scholars to take it beyond the realms of archaeology, telling that this was the pots and pans which were found. No, these are very, very superficial. Look at what the wisdom came there. And that wisdom is a living reality of Bharat even today. It has not diminished. And this living reality, South has a greater role to play. Because whenever there was an invasion and there was a threat to this philosophy, this darshan in the North through various invasions, it was the South. It was this land that sustained it. When there was Islamic invasion and source of our spiritual capital, center of gravity, Kashi, was destroyed. Because those invaders kept destroying our libraries of Nalanda, our ancient monuments, the temples of Kashi. It was Parakram Pandya of this land who brought the Shivlinga from Kashi and built the Kashi Vishwanath temple and built a Ten Kashi. In that, even if that is destroyed, Kashi is not going to disappear from this earth. It was when this invasion continued and when they continued destroying our temples and taxes, jizya taxes. It was this bhakti literature that our Nayanars and mantra of bhakti which our Nayanars and Alavars had given, it has spread and collected the society, saved the society and saved Bharat. It went from here, from Tamil, it went to Telugu. A lot of scholars, poet saints like Amanacharya and all. It went to Uriya, Jayadev. It went to Bengal, Mahaprabhu Chaitanya. It went to Assam, Sri Shankar Dev. It went to Hindi area, Tulsidas. It went to Punjabi speaking, Guru Nanak Dev, who came up to Rameshwaram. It went to Kashmir, Lal Ded. It went south to Gujarat, Narsim Mehta. It came to Maharashtra, Sant Dhyaneshwar, all around. It was this land. When all those areas were under threat, the mantra given by our Nayanars and Arvars, that let the temple be destroyed by the invaders, no problem. We will bring that to our heart. And this bhakti mantra that this land gave, which is a manifestation of the same Saraswati civilization, Sindhu civilization, that spread and saved Bharat. So whenever there has been a crisis on Bharat, this land has been the savior. This land has been the custodian. So we owe it all the more that this land talks more and more about this Saraswati Sindhu civilization. Not merely in terms of its physical manifestation, but it's a living manifestation that it gave, and that created Bharat, and it lives in the heart of every Bharatiya. This is the beauty of this seminar, and I hope and I'm sure in the coming 2 days we will discuss more and more about it. I wish this 2 days seminar all the very best. I need and I will urge the students to pursue it, to go do deep dive, get the literature more and more, scientific literature more and more. See the reports of ISRO scientists, see the reports of NASA scientists about the evolution, how the Saraswati existed. For yourself, don't get carried away by speeches of anyone. Go and find it out yourself. You must be a curious explorer of our past, of our heritage, and only then you will have a pride. I'm sure you will do that. I have no doubt about it. I wish it the very best. And for the mother Bharat Mata, which emerged out of Saraswati Sindhu civilization, I would like to pay my ovations with Vande Mataram. Vande, Vande, Vande. Thank you. Nandri.
Thank you, sir, for your invaluable insights on the oldest civilization, Bharat, who pray for world peace. Loga Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. We are happy to express our heartfelt appreciation to all who have contributed to the success of this conference. It's my privilege to invite our esteemed treasurer, Dr. O.N. Paramashivam, sir, to propose the words of thanks.
Good morning to all the dignitaries on and off the dais. I deem it great privilege and honor in proposing word of thanks for this inaugural function of the 2-day international conference on Sindhu Saraswati civilization. Sindhu to Tamirabarani, the flow of faith, civilization, organized by our college in collaboration with Center for South Indian Studies, Chennai. At the outset, I record our sincere gratitude of thanks to the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu through R.N. Raviji for having graced this occasion and delivered a thought-provoking inaugural speech on the legacy and greatness of Sindhu Saraswati civilization and the importance of taking forward this vital message to the youth of this country. Your speech, sir, was inspiring and a moral booster to all of us. We shall cherish the same and shall be duty bound to the development of our nation. I once again thank the Honorable Governor for showering his blessings for the successful conduct of this conference. I accord a warm greeting and thanks to the members of College Council and the College Committee for their great support in chalking out several strategic initiatives in the interest of the student community and the nation at large. I must express my heartfelt thanks to the Secretary and Director, Dr. C.A. Vasuki, who is the person operating day-to-day function of this institution and architect of this conference. I also heartfully thank the principal, heads of department, faculty members for their dedicated effort in accomplishing a great responsibility of preparing smart citizens who will be culturally, morally, spiritually, and ethically sound and remain rooted to our soil. I must at this juncture record my appreciation to all the non-teaching faculty members for their commitment and hard work. I express my heartfelt gratitude to Sri Sandeep, Sri Kumaresan, Sri Dharani from Center for South Indian Studies for their contribution in coordinating and successful conduct of this conference. I extend my thanks to the students, scholars, teachers, and all the participants who have registered and submitted research articles from various parts of the country and abroad. Your support and participation is commendable in upholding the legacy of this nation. I express my sincere thanks to the police personnel, the press and the media, and all the other special guests who have come to witness this grand inaugural. I once again express my thanks to all those who have been involved directly or indirectly in accomplishing this conference a great success. Namaskar, Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Let's hope the deliberations and discussions in forthcoming 2 days will seek reaffirm the relevance of timeless heritage in guiding contemporary society, harmony, sustainability, and shared human values. With this note, let us raise for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाता जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Audience are asked to be seated. Audience are asked to be seated.